It is a sad, sad day for America. It is hard to find the words to describe the shock and the horror that people are feeling right now, after many of us were witnessing on live television the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. This is a devastating day for America. Right now, people are pouring their hearts out on social media and posting "Pray for Trump."
I think all of us that witnessed the attempted assassination of Donald Trump live on national TV are going to remember this event for the rest of our lives. Where we were, who we were with, and the questions that we had. If you guys look at my thumbnail and you look at the title, I want to know, and the key question to me is this complete incompetence by the U.S. Secret Service, or is this part of a larger conspiracy? An event like this, an attempted assassination on a former president or current president, hasn't happened in my lifetime, albeit outside of 1981 when Ronald Reagan was shot. Prior to that, it was John F. Kennedy. And the vast majority of Americans to this day believe that the John F. Kennedy assassination was a conspiracy and involved the U.S. government. That's in all of the modern day polling. And this is turning a lot of questions with all the divisions in the country, with all the heated rhetoric in the country. We want to look at what could have possibly incited this and how the U.S. Secret Service failed in their mission to protect the former president from harm. There's a lot of questions people have, and the beauty of this being in 2024 is day by day, hour by hour, new images. Everybody has a cell phone. New testimonies are coming out, and it's all in the public forum. So we're going to walk through this a little bit. I'm going to give you guys some color commentary, and let's see if we can answer that core key question. Is the Secret Service incompetent? Is their leader, Kim Cheadle, incompetent, or is this part of a larger conspiracy?
The pressure and scrutiny is well and truly on the Secret Service because they failed yesterday. They failed to keep a presidential candidate safe.
The scene of the crime viewed from above a farm showground in Pennsylvania. This is where Donald Trump was speaking, the area in red in front of him where his audience was gathered. There were two sniper teams stationed on the roofs of the buildings behind the former president, one at either end. Somehow a gunman had managed to reach the roof of another building, only around 130 metres away from his target.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense that the Secret Service, who are in charge of the security for these type of political events, and because you have a former president there, didn't clear the building hours before. And even if they didn't clear the building in that period of time, why wasn't there some kind of aerial observation capability?
There's a whole lot of interviewing to be done. There's a whole lot of forensic data, to your point, to be done.
So the way that this works, guys, is when the Secret Service is protecting someone, they're protecting a high value asset, they're protecting their package, they send out an advance team to scout the area, to look at the perimeter, to assess danger and possible incoming threats. They do this in liaison with local law enforcement as well. This is a small town with a very few amount of buildings. How they could leave open a building with an elevated roof, right? With an elevated shooting platform that allowed a 20-year-old kid to put a ladder on in full tactical gear, carrying a rifle to climb the ladder, get on top of the roof, and crawl to a prone position and take 5 aimed headshots or body shots at President Trump without firing, without seeing him. Where was the aerial reconnaissance? Where was local law enforcement? Why did they not take the guy out? Now, we do know, since new information has come to light, new information is out there, dozens and dozens of spectators alerted the local authorities, alerted the Secret Service, and now famously, this ginger gave an interview as well. Lee, roll part of that clip.
We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
It wasn't just this guy. As he said, they were pointing for minutes. Secret Service saw them in their high-powered binoculars. It wasn't just this guy. It was dozens of people that reported this. And as a matter of fact, the AP, the Associated Press, is now reporting that an officer, based on all the civilians telling him there was a person on the roof with a rifle, went up onto the roof, and he claims that the would-be assassin, the wannabe assassin, pointed his rifle at him, and then he retreated. What did he do next? Seems like a logical question. Did he call for backup? Did he inform Secret Service? Did Secret Service have eyes on? I would like to think that this was not a Uvalde incident and this guy was competent and he called it in immediately. There's now countdown timers to when this event occurred, and they let Trump speak for almost 3 more minutes after supposedly they were alerted and aware that there was a sniper on the rooftop. Lee, show me a picture of the counter sniper team. So guys, this is a famous photo now. If you look at their hardware, if you look at the rifles that they're using, that looks to be 338 Lapua, could be 300 Win Mag, but I think it's 338 Lapua. The effective range of those rifles, just so Americans can understand this, is about 20 football fields. The suspect, the wannabe assassin, was about 1 football field away. The scopes on those rifles look to be 25 power scopes, meaning they could zoom in to the point they could see the pores on his skin, okay? So this brings me to my next question. We know now from eyewitness testimony, from the dozens of people on the ground, that law enforcement was alerted of the shooter. We know law enforcement actually went up and saw the shooter. And we know that Trump spoke for almost 3 more minutes in that window. What I want to know is, what were the rules of engagement, the ROE? Do we know what they were? Because it's being reported by the press that Secret Service was not allowed to fire unless shots came out first, meaning they had to be fired upon or somebody else had to be fired upon. How the hell would you protect anybody, if you had to wait for a suspect to shoot the suspect, to get shots off at the individual they're protecting, right? How would you be able to protect anybody? It would be nearly impossible. So the question is, do you want to know if this is a conspiracy? Tell me the answer to this question. Does Joe Biden's PSD, his personal security detail, do they operate, if that is true, that Secret Service at the Trump rally was not allowed to fire until shots were fired? Does Joe Biden's personal security detail, his Secret Service detail, do they operate under those same rules of engagement? If the answer is yes, that can help squash a little bit, temper the conspiracy notion. If the answer is no, meaning that if you replaced Donald Trump at that rally with Joe Biden, would Secret Service have behaved the exact same way? Being notified there was a sniper on the rooftop, would they have just sat there with him in their sights and done nothing until he clapped off 5 shots at President Joe Biden? Is that how that would have played out? Does anybody really think that's how that would have played out? Because if Joe Biden gets reelected, I can tell you right now, you'll never know the answer to that question. They'll just change the SOP. They'll change the standard operating procedures. You're going to see, look, if the Secret Service head, Kim Cheadle, is ever put in front of a congressional hearing committee, you're going to see the Democrats surround her, say she's being attacked because she's a woman. You're going to see them say things like, you're so brave, your agents put their lives on the line. Nobody is doubting the bravery, the integrity of these said agents. What I'm doubting is their training and what rules they were operating under, and their skills and ability, because they looked sophomoric. They looked sophomoric in their response. Lee, this is a good time. Go ahead and replay the attempted assassination. And guys, I want you to focus on the audio. You can hear a female agent once Trump's body team collapses on him in what is now a kill box situation, and they lay on him for almost 3 minutes, leaving him in this target space. Listen to what the female agent is yelling out. Lee, roll it.
Something that said, take a look at what happened.
What are we doing? What are we doing? This speaks to tactical ability and training of that particular agent, and I'm sure it extends well beyond her. As you can see in the photo on our thumbnail, that could possibly be the same agent that was literally ducking behind the person she was supposed to be guarding as gunshots were ringing out. Your role as a Secret Service agent, should you choose to accept that job, is to be willing to give your life for the person you are protecting. Now, I don't want that job. Most people don't want that job. Are they underpaid? I'm sure they are, but that's the job that you chose. And this is what happens when you don't hire people based on skills and ability and temperament. You do not want to have quotas for who you need to hire when it comes to protecting the most powerful, the most important people in the world. It makes the team members less safe. It makes all of us Americans less safe. And it certainly makes the person you're supposed to be providing protection for even less safe. You even saw, I don't know if it's the same agent or another agent, was not even able to properly holster her weapon. Lee, roll that. So again, skills and ability. Now, look, when your body team collapses upon you, you're supposed to be exfilled from that area immediately because you don't know the situational threats you're facing. You had a sniper on the roof that was shooting down at you. How do you not know there's not a second or a third shooter there in the audience? How do you not know this is a terrorist situation where somebody has a vest on and they can clack off a vest, walk up to the stage, clack off the vest, and kill 50 people, including Donald Trump and everybody standing around him? The idea is the Secret Service should have grabbed Trump, physically removed him from that situation. When Ronald Reagan was shot in 1981, his security detail collapsed on him and reportedly threw him into the limo so hard he broke ribs. Okay. What you saw there with Trump was people confused, not even knowing what the plan was to get out of the current situation that they were in. Again, this speaks to training. This speaks to planning. And you know what? A fish rots from the head. Lee, throw up Kim Cheadle. Kim Cheadle. This is the current head of the Secret Service. Now, what's interesting about Kim Cheadle, guys, Kim Cheadle's prior experience to the Secret Service was she was head of global security for Pepsi Cola. Make that shit up. Head of security for Pepsi Cola out of a country of 330 million people. I mean, you would have thought we could at least get the head of security for Dunkin' Donuts or maybe Chipotle or Tesco's. Like they weren't available. The head of security for Pepsi Cola is now in charge of the Secret Service. I mean, this is an absolute joke. And again, this is all about ticking boxes to say that you have X amount of people, hiring people based off genitalia versus ability and merit. And this is what you get. You allowed a 20-year-old unskilled. When I say unskilled, this kid, this man, this attempted wannabe assassin, he tried out for his junior varsity high school rifle team and failed to make the team. He was able to crawl, to place a ladder, climb the ladder, get on top of the roof, and get within 130 meters and clack off 5 shots at the president, at the former president, Donald J. Trump. Easy shots, and he scored a headshot, clipping him in the ear. The only reason Trump is alive today is not because of the Secret Service. It's because of whether it's divine intervention or good fortune. He turned his head to the side. Look at that slow motion, or look at that still frame image of the bullet. He turned his head to the side, and the bullet that would have gone through his head ended up going through his ear. It's the only reason he was able to survive. Guys, this was a total security failure. And it's no reason so many Americans, including myself, would never rely on the government to protect us. We would not rely on the government to protect us. They can't protect one of the most important people in the world with supposedly the most highly trained and skilled team of agents in the world. It was a public embarrassment. I think a lot of Americans felt that way. If you guys go on YouTube, look at the former Secret Service agents, look at the ex-Tier 1 operators talking about this, all saying the same thing. Absolutely egregious, absolutely embarrassing. And there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Guys, if you want future updates to this video, let me know. Like and subscribe. Send this video out to your friends. But tell me in the comments if you want me to keep going as we get new information. Be happy to make these videos for you. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay frosty, everybody.